is it going to be worth it for the Magic knowing that they got all these players? I mean, they're still under, man, their salary is not really high at all. It's at 153 million.
Yeah, they're very flexible.
Yeah, they're very flexible, but the thing is, right? I'm looking at whose contract is going to be coming up.
France is Banchero's contract coming up.
Yeah, Banchero. That's really all they
Suggs is on a
have.
comfortable deal. I
That's
think France is a little expensive.
yeah. Then what about Mo? They're not gonna mess with Mo. It doesn't look like it.
Right now, I think they're gonna let Mo walk.
Yeah, because Mo might actually bargain a decent kind of mid tier, 28 million a year. He might actually qualify for that. But unless I mean, if the Magic really want to get like another wing in there, I don't know if they want to get an AD in there or someone of that caliber, maxing out
Anthony
Paolo.
Davis caliber?
Say that again.
Whose caliber?
I would say around the AD. I'm not saying AD specifically, but I'm talking about like a 10-year or 8-year player who has playoff experience. If they really want to go to that next level and add that guy, man, maxing out Paolo on that rookie scale extension, especially with you got Anthony Black coming up by 2027.
Black is what, third year?
Yeah, but his rookie scale contract is gonna end in 27. Like, it gets complicated when you start maxing out your top guy, like for the full rookie scale max. It gets complicated to add people to that, and then you're already paying France. So man, France is getting see like okay, prime example right here. The Magic last year, they would have renegotiated Franz a little bit different had his extension been up this season. Like, I don't know if it makes sense to pay a rookie scale contract where Franz is going to be making $51 million in 29-30. Or he's going to be making 47 mil in 28-29. You know what I'm saying? Even 27-28, him making 44 mil. And then of course, you're going to have to pay Paolo by then. Where's the room to put another like player in there?
Like, you have to make those kind of Desmond Bain type trades.
Oh, and then they're paying Desmond Bain now. So this is where it gets complicated because the real money that they could save is in between the Franz extension and the Paolo extension. They could save enough money where they can get another mid-level guy in there. But if these guys want to fully get maxed out and they're really stuck on that, then these teams might as well tell them, hey, it's a possibility we might not be able to compete.
Yeah, that's plausible. But I also think they have a lot of younger assets too, right? So they have a lot of tradable assets. Tristan De Silva, I believe. Is Caleb Houston due for a contract? I saw they let Gary.
Yeah, but they would have to nail. See, look at Oklahoma City. They nail on their draft picks. Like, Sam Presti's been nailing James Harden, Kevin Durant, Westbrook. Drafted all three of these guys back to back to back to back. And then look, he did it again, right? He drafted all these guys that's in OKC right now. They only picked up Hartenstein. They traded for Caruso. If you really want to compete with a low salary team, you got to nail on those draft picks. If you're not a Sam Presti, then you have to reconsider maxing out Apollo, maxing out a Franz. You're going to have to reconsider this if you're looking at the cap sheet and the way this new CBA got the NBA structured going forward past 2025-26.
Let me ask you this, right? Jalen Green, for example, did not show real success, right? For 3 years, he was on the Rockets. 3-4 years, he was on the Rockets.
Correct.
But for example, Banchero, right? He's shown you impact since his second season. Second, now he's in his third. Back-to-back seasons, playoff appearances. Last season, if he didn't go down, I assume Orlando probably would have landed fifth seed. At that point, like, what does a bargaining power look like for Paolo Banchero? Because at that point, you've shown yourself that you are someone.
Mm-hmm.
You are someone that can turn a franchise around. Because Orlando wasn't really shit.
Right now, for him, he would get the full max. He would get the full max because you know why? The Magic trapped themselves already by just giving Franz the deal that they gave him making 47 million,
Yeah,
51 million at the end of his rookie scale deal. So now they're gonna have to max out Paolo. What I'm saying is that now that the Magic, playing Monday morning quarterback, seeing how Houston kind of structured their situation, I know they're looking back like, fuck, we should have negotiated with Franz, and then that would have gave us the leverage to negotiate with Paolo, and then really get another piece with the money we saved.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because you look at Brunson took a pay cut, SGA took a pay cut. So what is Orlando trying to do here? They're just trying to have the Franz and Paolo show with them possibly just getting eliminated in the first round, not having quite enough pieces or not needing what they really need, like another really kind of that guy wing player that can help them out, or they're just gonna
They
be
need a
in the
guard.
mix.
Yeah.
It gets weird. It gets complicated, but it's too late. They already maxed out Franz. But I think going forward, a team like if Charlotte was actually trying to compete, I would say Charlotte.
Washington.
The Washington Wizards. Okay, that's perfect. The Wizards is prime example. They're not going to max out a lot of these guys. They're going to look to do the Houston Rockets blueprint on this team. This team is actually, they have the leverage to do so.
I like the Washington Wizards' future. I'm gonna be honest.
Me too.
I know it's a little
Me too.
sidetrack, but I like their future a lot.
Me too. But you know what? Their future is signaling. It kind of way. I want to say this. Their future is signifying the future of the NBA, where you have these teams that they're in the lottery from year to year sometimes, but then when they get players, you see all of a sudden, this team has a bunch of guys that can. These guys can ball. You know what I mean? Like they're like Orlando. They're like a younger version of OKC that just won the championship. They got a lot of guys, and this is the future of the league. You really got to be that guy to dominate.
And tradable veterans, right, on bad contracts that you can eventually flip.
What do you mean?
Like Middleton's expiring, right?
But
we can all agree Middleton is overpaid.
No, but
that is a contract that they could milk out assets for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like forget Middleton and their vet guys. I'm talking about like because they have a lot of young guys on this team that you can see like they drafted.
AJ Johnson,
they drafted in the first round. They can't fully max out these guys. Let's say Alex Sarr was playing good, but he's not dominating. I would say in the OCBA they would max his ass out, but now in this current NBA they're not gonna max. Even if he was getting like 24, 25 a night and the Wizards were still in the lottery, they're not going to max you out. They're just not. It just doesn't make sense if they want to compete. But if the Wizards want to continue, wait, hold on. If the Wizards want to continue and give him the Bradley Beal deal, then go ahead. They'll end up like John Wall and Bradley Beal, just getting paid and eliminated.
Let me ask you this, right? What about let's say Jalen Williams for the Oklahoma City Thunder? You make all defensive team, all-star, all NBA team. I don't see a world where he's not getting paid a crazy, like his second contract won't be crazy.
I see a world where he's gonna take a slight cut because look at SGA, he took the cut. So how is Jalen Williams gonna fully max out his rookie scale extension? Like that's what I'm saying. We're about to see guys who actually qualify for the money take less money. So it's a trickle down. It's a trickle down. We're about to see who's really serious about winning, who's really serious about competing. No one's telling these guys to take a $40 million pay cut or take a Brunson pay cut, but they're gonna have to take like a good maybe $4 or $5 million off their contract per year. That's if they're serious.
To sign kind of the AJ Mitchell type of players, Jalen, the other Jalen Williams type of players.
Yeah. That little 12 to $13 million a year player, If you follow the Rockets blueprint, the way they structure Jalen Green and Şengün is to have enough money to get that $13, $14 million a year player that can help this team. And some of these teams like the Orlando Magic, it might be too late for them, but again, this is why I always bring up the salary cap sheet. You can kind of see what's going to take place for these teams. Unless Paolo has like a SGA type of jump, they're going to be kind of stuck paying guys a ton of money, and their owners are not going to pay luxury tax. If they had the owners that wanted to pay that, then cool. but they don't have that type of ownership. So
Yeah, small market franchise, they're not paying those kind of
so
prices.
what's the deal? What's the future for Orlando? They're gonna grab a couple of vets for the next 2 years, try to ball out and get into the finals or whatever, and then after that they're stuck paying Paolo and Franz 50, 47, 44 million dollars. So that's 90. That's almost $100 million in cap space between two players. This is where this
Yeah,
shit gets complicated.
yeah, that's where it gets hard
Yeah, it gets
for
real
them.
tricky. And that's where Sam Presti comes in. If you have a Sam Presti, you might be able to get away with that. But most teams don't have a Sam Presti. They're landing on one
Well, no
guy
team
and
has a Sam Presti.
they're landing on one draft pick, but they're fucking up the next three. Most teams are like
Well, I
that.
think that's what I think I got to give credit to Sam Presti. I was thinking about it recently, man, with kind of Masai Ujiri, right? Masai, top of the world, 2019. You remember the phrase "and Masai you can trust," and all those phrases that got popular. What I gotta give Sam Presti credit for is what he saw after 2019 with kind of the project kind of coming to an end with Russell Westbrook and Paul George. What he was able to sell owners, because let's be honest, owners look to save money. What I gotta give him credit for was what he was able to sell owners was the fact that yo, you save a lot of money. I'll get you these draft picks, and we could actually compete without me having to spend too much. Because
Mm-hmm.
one thing about Oklahoma, it's throughout their franchise history, they've always been a cheap organization. Prime example being the James Harden contract situation, where it eventually
Yep.
led to him going to Houston. So I think that's one thing Sam Presti was kind of ahead of the curve, or Sam Presti exposed that this is how you do dealings, especially with a small market franchise with no Steve Ballmer money or no, no Steve Ballmer money kind of organization is. This is how you kind of do dealings. You can't be overly aggressive or you burn out, but you can sell an owner on the idea of potential. Because I guarantee Oklahoma's owner more than Shea Gildas, they probably like those picks. It's like, oh shit, we save a lot of money.
Facts. Facts. And it's really gonna come down to that. And gone are the days of the mom and pop franchises really, I don't want to say affording to be an NBA owner, but right now there's some people that's really questionable to still be there, and one of them might be the Indiana Pacers owner in a very similar situation as the Lakers, where they're kind of mom and pop. They don't have any net worth outside of the team. Really, the team is like a primary business, and you could see how the what's his name, the Miles
Hello?
Turner contract played out, where
Yeah.
they could have paid him that money, but they elected to save they elected to save themselves from paying $2 million worth of luxury tax, which isn't a lot, and then be out of it next year. But hey, it is
Yeah.
what it is. But going back to the teams kind of being stuck with these rookies coming off these extensions, you don't want to end up like the Toronto Raptors. Like if you look at them right now, they got just a bunch of guys that they're paying $20 million plus for. You know what I mean? They got way too many players that they're fishing in that medium market a little bit too long. You know what I mean? They got
Bro,
Ingram, quickly, RJ, and it's like, damn, at some point Scotty
they
Barnes' new
paid
money's gonna kick in.
they paid Jakob Pertl recently 104 million.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at
Bro,
their
my thing
salary.
with the oh my bad, continue on.
No, I was gonna say I'm looking at their salary cap sheet right now, and wow, they got 2 years next season and the season after, where they're at $181 million. They're gonna be what,
Yeah.
$7 million off from they're about $6 million off from being at the luxury tax line, and that's without them filling up their roster.
Bro, one thing that surprised with the Raptors, I think they're in a situation. Are we? Hold on, by the way, did we move on from? You have any like last thoughts? I guess we could just move on from Houston. Any last thoughts?
No. Pretty much with Houston, all I have to say is that I believe they're setting the blueprint for teams not to go all out on the LaMelo balls. Hey, LaMelo, you're up for contract extension. Hey, let's talk about you taking a little haircut less every year so we can have enough money saved up for a mid-level exception. And then they would do the same thing with what's his name? Brandon. What's the other guy in
B Miller,
yeah, Brandon
Brandon
Miller.
Miller.
They would do the same thing for Brandon Miller. They'll be like, hey, take a
Yeah.
few years, take a little haircut every year, and then we're gonna combine the money and go get a veteran guy we can pay 14 to 15 million a year for to help you guys get to that next level. Like this is the way the NBA is now, because these rookies they're gonna have deals where even with that haircut they're gonna be making 45 mil plus.
And they're still making crazy money.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so it's like
Yeah.
if SGA takes a pay cut and Jalen Brunson takes a pay cut, there's gonna be a trickle down effect even to the younger players. It's
Because
bound
they're
to
all towards the
happen.
same standard.
Yeah.
And let
So
me ask you, where do you view Houston in kind of the Western Conference setting? Like as of right now, let's say the season starts tomorrow. Where do you kind of view them in your opinion?
I gotta wait on
And
that
what?
because I'm gonna wait on that because I gotta see how Houston is gonna use Kevin Durant, how they're gonna use him. That's very key. And also Fred VanVleet. Are they gonna? Did they re-sign him? Like they're gonna?
They re-signed him. They extended him.
They extended him to what?
2 years. Um.
Oh, so they're betting 2 years on KD.
Yeah, they're re-signing. I think Kevin Durant talked about taking a pay cut.
Oh yeah. 2 years, 2 years, 50 million. So he's taking 25 a year.
Yeah.
Fred is taking 20.
Not
So
bad of
yeah,
a deal.
the Fred VanVleet situation, I would say, man, they're really betting on that for KD because
Yeah.
KD at this point, I would just say it's pretty much a catch and shoot, and hopefully he doesn't fall in love with trying to go ISO and take guys off the dribble last second and make a shot. Because I
I
don't think
think
Kevin
he's gonna
Durant
have
at
to
this
move the
point
ball, man.
is that efficient at it in game speed.
No,
I
I
don't
think
think
they're
so.
they're gonna be a team that moves the ball, man. I think that's gonna be the identity of the Houston Rockets. Imi Odaka takes pride in his defense. He's surrounded him with good defenders. Obviously, you can see that with Bari, Amin Thompson, Dorian Finney-Smith, so the Atari Eason. So the Rockets are gonna be a dog team. I think Kevin Durant's fit will be interesting. Obviously, I want to know what their guard depth will look like and how they're gonna work the double big lineup and how they kind of like last season, we saw the double big lineup work, so it'll be interesting to see how that transfer over this season. But overall, the Rockets they've done good. They're aggressive. With the West continuing to improve, and I think we're gonna talk about the Nuggets later and the other teams around Memphis. They done a solid job. I give them an A in my grading.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting on how this Kevin Durant, because
Well,
honestly, the
yeah,
NBA has an issue with players not knowing when to age out. Like, I feel like right now, there's a few players where they're in that threshold of just like, yeah, you're a legend, but are you really impacting the league? We've seen you kind of have a lot of questionable playoff losses
Durant is
that,
still a top 15 player, man. He is
yeah,
from
yeah,
like
he
Carmelo
definitely is.
Anthony,
But when you see him get
Oklahoma.
swept
Yeah,
by, you know, I would say
Anthony Edwards.
a less polished Anthony Edwards. Like his game is not fully polished yet for the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like he still has a few things he needs to fix in his game, like on a playoff
Yeah, of
level.
course.
And when you see someone like that sweep Kevin Durant, and you just see the athleticism, and you're like, damn, bro. Like some of these guys are like kind of hanging around too long. Like they could still be in
Yeah,
the
I do.
league, but their role is really the third option.
The role is a second option. I think Durant can be a first option, but I don't think he could be a first option night in and night out.
What I think the Rockets are gonna do, they're gonna use him as a decoy on a lot of shit. Like it's gonna be better
Yeah, I think the
spacing.
Rockets are gonna continue on the defensive reputation.
Yeah, but it's gonna be better spacing for a lot of their other guys. They're
Bro, I
gonna have
think
better
what it
spacing to
is,
operate.
they're gonna have Durant really close out games, but I think he'll just like scroll through the first three and a half quarters. You know what I mean?
Hey, this is Durant's
Like,
last chance. This is
yeah, I
really his
think this
last
is an
chance.
ideal spot. The Suns had too many holes. The Rockets, they're very good at the wing positions. Another player I'm kind of interested in is Cam Whitmore. I want to know if he's traded or if he's kept. I'm leaning towards he's traded. I
hmm
wonder what team bites because he's going to be an interesting player to look out for.
What do you think about the Suns and Kevin Durant's relationship? Because things kind of got a little. It's a little weird in the light because the Suns told, they told people that the Minnesota Timberwolves would be interested in Kevin Durant, And then the Timberwolves, they kind of went behind their back and found out from Kevin Durant's team that he never even stated that. So the Suns were
Yeah, I
kind of
think
making up shit.
the Suns were going for a big package with Durant. I think Durant really held their arms in negotiations because it seems like they shut down every negotiation. Um, for whatever reason, everyone dragged the Memphis Grizzlies throughout the rumors. For whatever reason, I thought that was kind of fucked up. I'm not gonna lie. It seemed like every media had just wanted to shit on the Memphis Grizzlies for for God knows what reason. And then it seemed like with Minnesota seems like I don't know, some fun Suns people in the media, people in their front office, they were trying to look for a Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert package. That one surprised me. I'm like, bro, you got to be stupid to give that big of a haul for Kevin Durant.
I mean, it goes to show how desperate they are.
Yeah, they try to be aggressive sellers, and teams aren't buying like they used to, bro. I think a lot of, I wouldn't even say that because you look at the Desmond Bain, Mikal Bridges situation. I just don't think teams will buy into a 35-year-old, 35, 36 year
Man,
old
I think
small
KD
forward,
is
man.
38, gonna be 38 this season.
Yeah, he's one of the oldest players in the league.
Yeah, so it's like, what are you really selling for? You selling for only a 2 year window?
2 year rental, exactly. And someone who's not really in a locked in. So, what exactly is the gamble for you to like put all your chips in one player? I think that's what the Suns kind of thought. I think the Suns thought like teams were just as stupid as them. But to the Suns' credit, they were able to finesse off of this deal. In the draft, they did good. I think the South Sudanese kid, I'm rooting for him. I think he can be a solid player. Mark Williams was a good trade for what it is. Player with back problems. He's not going to be a crazy contract to re-sign. So I got to give the Suns their credit. They did good.
We'll see how it plays out for them because it's a very thin line right now between competing for a championship and rebuilding because of the new CBA. And speaking of that, let's go to your article about the Orlando Magic and the Grizzlies because you had a lot of good points in here with the way the temperament
Thank you,
now
bro.
is with this Desmond Bain trade. Because with that trade, right, there's a lot of salary conundrums. Like the way they were paying Desmond Bain was a lot of money, of course, and now they traded him to Orlando. And it's like now,
Yeah,
okay, Orlando has a lot of young players also on their team. Eventually, they're gonna want to go up and re-sign some of these guys, but they're gonna be eventually
yeah.
in the same conundrum as the Grizzlies, where Jaren Jackson Jr. was up for 5 years and $345 million extension because he made Defensive Player of the Year.
Well deserved car extension. For whatever reason, I saw a lot of media members shit on him.
I
I
mean,
like
he
Jaren Jackson
he
Jr.
he,
I thought
he didn't get the full amount, right? He didn't get the full 345.
no, he didn't.
Yeah, so he got somewhere around that 345.
It's a good deal for the Memphis Grizzlies. Yeah,
But this again, this is where like we spoke about earlier, maxing out these guys coming off these rookie deals. Now Desmond Bain, that $40 million, it goes on Orlando's books. So
yeah,
between Desmond Bain, Franz, and Paolo's upcoming extension, that's almost gonna be like 130, 140.
yeah. They're gonna. I think, and also Suggs is also locked in for a couple of years too. But he has a good contract.
I mean, is Orlando betting that Desmond Bain can get them over the hump?
I think with the East Open, they could go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Man,
I think with that kind of team, it opens up a door, right? With the Orlando Magic, it opened up a door for them, right? Because I think last postseason, their season ended in five. But when you watch the Boston series, to their credit, they held up pretty well. The problem with the Orlando Magic and their postseason run was they didn't have any shot creators who can really make threes. They were the worst 3-point shooting team last year. I
mhm.
think with this trade that just happened, right? You got rid of the 4 draft picks. That's going to be big. But a lot of teams, due to the free agencies the past 2 seasons, a lot of teams are forced to give up assets. You saw with their Knicks last offseason. You see it with Desmond Bain this offseason now. Obviously, now you give up KCP was really underachieving. Cole Anthony, who's whatever, in my opinion, very inconsistent point guard. Good, but not great at anything. You give up these kind of players, now you bring in Desmond Bain. Last season, he shot around 40% behind three. Orlando was the worst three-point shooting team. Now you have someone who can handle the ball, make some threes for you, create his own shot, drive to the basket. That is a good deal for the Orlando Magic. Along with Tyce Jones. Tyce Jones is a guy who's not a star point guard, but he's a point guard who can shoot. He can play off the ball. Most importantly, set up your two players. So I think for the Orlando Magic, I like these deals a lot. In my opinion, I think with the Indiana Pacers, like to your point, what they shown is, we can be a team that's not really all that crazy in the regular season, but depending on matchup, if we get the favorable matchup, we can make a run. And I think teams like the Orlando Magic are showing that confidence with their Desmond Bain investment. I think the Atlanta Hawks have shown that confidence with a lot of their signings.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Atlanta Hawks. They seem like they're going all in with
They're going all in.
with Trey.
Orlando seems to be going all in too, and I think that's the way it should be. Detroit Pistons are the only team that don't seem to be going all in.
Oh wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. I'm not gonna blame Detroit because you know why? What would have happened if the Pistons knew Miles Turner was available? Can you imagine Miles Turner along with fucking what's his name?
Cade Cunningham.
Cade Cunningham, man, unbelievable.
Unbelievable, but I also think the rebounding problem for the Pistons wouldn't have been solved.
Nah, yeah, you're right. It would that part would not have been solved. But wow, can you imagine if Cade had a stretch five? Sheesh.
That'd be incredible. But I think we could get to Miles Turner later. But my thing with the Pistons, I get what they're coming from. I think the Pistons last season was the only real regular season. Past few seasons, let's be honest, that shit didn't count. They were a fucking joke. It didn't seem like they had a direction. I think with the Pistons now, what it seems like to me is they're gonna look at their roster. They're gonna be like, "Yo, who's in, who's out?" You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Is Duran the future? Is Ivy the future? Howard Duncan Robinson and the new signee Duncan Robinson. How is he gonna play within whatever system? How's Ron Holiday gonna play into? Ron Holland's gonna play into what we want to pursue and what we want to achieve. So I think the Pistons right now, they're just looking at the roster. I think the GM even said it himself that we're not expecting a crazy offseason. Despite the East being open on paper, it seems like they're not really going all that aggressive, in my opinion. It could be smart for the Pistons end, and
they don't really know what they have. They don't really know what they have.
Yeah, of course, because you don't know, it's too raw. And I think that's where I've seen a lot of Pistons fans angry, but I think it's a respectable position to have.
Yeah,
in my opinion. But I think for Orlando, there's a lot more pressure because it seems like your two stars have shown ability to maybe make a jump, and you bring in Desmond Bain who can open up scoring, and Tyce Jones who can bring in playmaking. Orlando, they should be expected to make a jump in three-point shooting, which can possibly put them in second round action, which they desperately need.
Yeah, Tyus Jones, what was the deal they gave him?
$7 million 1 year.
Wow. So it goes to show you that he'd even wait for Phoenix to even play out, because man, what's going on over there in Phoenix is a mess. You could just tell, because he took less money and skipped out.
He took a pay cut.
Yeah, on Washington to play for Phoenix, hoping that they was gonna extend him. And now that should even work out. He might as well have taken the money, man.
Yeah, 100%. But I think this investment in Orlando is going to pay off a lot better. They're a much more fluent franchise. They're a team desperately looking for playmaking.
Yeah, and they desperately need a point guard.
So it's an ideal situation. Their scoring is going to go up, in my opinion. So I'm kind of looking forward to Orlando's season. I think another question that comes into it, it's obviously Banchero's extension, which we talked about earlier, but Franz Wagner's improvement within the three-point shot. It seems like he's regressed since coming into the league. So that's going to be something that they kind of have to look at, is how much does he improve in his shooting ability. And I think health overall, Orlando is really questionable. Jalen Suggs has dealt with injuries. Banchero dealt with injuries. Franz dealt with injuries. So they're going to have to be a really healthy team if they want to look to compete.
But again, them committing to that contract by Franz, man. They might have want to negotiated that because that Houston Rockets blueprint is undeniable right now. It's just giving
Yeah, the
guys
Houston Rockets blueprint does look good,
yeah,
but
a
for what
shorter deal.
situations are dealt with, I think they've done a solid job thus far. In my opinion, you lock in your third option's a guy who has 3 years in his contract. Let's see what Pablo's contract's gonna look like. You got young assets. Let's see how I think Jalen's on a good contract.
Jonathan
You kind of
Isaac
have
is
to
on a
see how
great contract.
Isaac's under a great contract. Their big, I don't really like their big men situation. I think they need to look to improve on that. I'm not really sold on Goga Batase or Wendell Carter,
Yeah, but Wendell Carter's
and
locked in.
yeah, he's locked in.
Another contract where it's just the team has an option on that last year, but another 4-year deal. I mean, the Magic,
How
they're
many?
giving away, like I'm telling you, Houston giving a shorter term deal, like a 3 to 4 year deal with a team option at the end of that, is a lot better than the rookie 5-year guarantee that they give Franz, and they're gonna have to give Paolo. I mean,
How
unless
much is
Paolo
Wendell sitting on?
Wendell is sitting on like 18 to 20 with a team option at the end.
They could look to move him around, but that's kind of their struggles. But overall, man, I think with the East open, the Orlando Magic, it won't surprise me, depending on matchup, if they end up in health, if they end up making a deep run. Same with the Hawks, in my opinion. Like those two teams, I think they're a dark horse.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Knicks are going to be favorites because the Knicks are the Knicks.